This is part 2 of the SwiftUI calculator tutorial. In this video, we'll be doing a bit of cleanup in preparation for some big improvements to our UI. Let's get started. Currently, there is no protection against allowing the user to divide by 0, which will cause our app to crash. All we need to do to prevent this is to check if our displayed number is not equal to 0 before we perform the calculation. If it is equal to 0, it would be nice to show the user an alert to remind them that they cannot divide by 0. To do this, we're going to create a new variable, an @state private var show error alert. And that's going to be a bool that we'll set to false. And we'll go ahead and attach our alert to our text that's displaying our number. So we'll do .alert is presented, and we'll set that to show error alert. And for our content, we'll display an alert with a title, message, and dismiss button. So the title is going to be error, and the message is going to be cannot divide by 0. And the dismiss button will just be a default with OK. And so here, if we do get 0, we'll just set show error alert to true, and that should display the error alert. And so let's try this out. We'll do 5 divided by 0, and we get the alert telling us that we can't do that. Cool. Now we want to be able to display decimal places. Remember, we had previously casted our displayed number to an int just to get rid of those trailing zeros. So to do this, we're going to create a new variable, an @state private var displayed text, and that's going to be a string. And we're going to go ahead and replace our text here. We'll just put displayed text. We'll create a new function here called update displayed text. We're going to let number equal the displayed number, otherwise it'll be equal to 0 if it's nil. And we'll set the displayed text equal to a string with a format. We're going to do %g. This is just going to show as many trailing zeros as needed. And we'll pass in our number. And we need to call this function anytime our displayed number changes. So we're going to add a didSet property to our variable. And we'll just call the update displayed text here. And so if we try this out, do 5 divided by 2, you can see we have our decimal place without all those trailing zeros. You may notice kind of an awkward bug that we have right now is anytime we press on one of the operation buttons, it sets our displayed number to nil, and so we just display 0, when really what we should be doing is leaving out the previous number. So we're going to make a quick change to our update displayed text method. So to make this work, all we have to do is, if displayed number is nil, we'll do nil coalescing to show the previous number. And then if that's nil, we'll just show 0. And there, that looks a bit better. So the last thing we're going to address in this video is a better way to customize our buttons. So currently they're all just a standard button, but if we wanted to, say, customize our buttons, we could do something like this. we can give our button a label. And so it'll be the same text, but this time we're going to set the font here. We're also going to set the frame to be 32 by 32. And we'll set the foreground color to .white. And we'll give it a background. It'll be a rounded rectangle with a corner radius of 8. And we'll give that rounded rectangle a foreground color of blue. And so now if I run this, you can see that we have a customized button, but it's only for our 7. If we want all of our buttons to look like this, we can copy and paste this code everywhere, but that's kind of messy. And if we wanted to say change the width or maybe the font size, we'd have to go back through each button and make that change. So a better way to do that would be to create a new view. And we'll call this new view custom button. And the idea is that we can just use this custom button throughout our app, and anytime we make a change to this custom button view, it'll update all of our buttons. So we're going to want to be able to pass in a title as a string. We're also going to want to be able to set the color of the button, but I'll give it a default value of blue so we don't have to do it every time. And we also want to pass in an action for when the button is pressed. And that's just going to be a closure that returns void. And I'll go ahead and set up the body here, var body type some view. And we'll just put a button here. We're going to do the action label constructor, and action will just be the action that's passed in. And for the label, we'll do text with the title that was passed in. And we'll go ahead and take all of those modifiers we added up here. We'll just copy those. And we'll put them here. And we'll change the foreground color of our rounded rectangle to be the color that we pass in. So we can go ahead and delete this button here. I can go ahead and just create a custom button. I'll give it the title 7. And we'll go ahead and set the action to type number 7. So let's go ahead and change all these other buttons. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight the word button and the first parenthesis. And I'm just going to press Command Option E. And I'm going to keep doing that until I have all of our buttons selected here. So now I have those selected. I'll press the left arrow key to go to the left. I'll type custom here, and then I'll just add the name parameter title there. And let's go ahead and try running that. And now all of our buttons are custom buttons. They still function just fine. Now, if we set the default color of our custom button to say .red, we'll go ahead and run that. And now all of our buttons are red. In the next video, we'll be making some major improvements to our UI. And we'll be making some changes to our custom button to make it look a bit fancier. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.